Hi guys, welcome to today's tip of the day. Today I'm going to be talking about imposter syndrome. And that is something I think we all struggled with at one point, or continue to struggle with depending on where you are in your business. And I know a number of you have identified this in the group. So this is something that I really wanted to address today. And particularly because I think December, at least the 3 months leading up to the end of the year, should be the time when you evaluate a lot of things in your business and get ready to start the new year on a high with everything planned out, mapped out, and just ready to go and crush your goals. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jody Ann Rowe, and I'm the founder of Event Certificate. That's www.eventcertificate.com. So, imposter syndrome is something that, let's be honest, I struggled with a lot in my business. And each time that I start a new business or add a new component to my business, it's something that I face all the time. I start questioning myself. Like, as an event planner, I've had a lot of years planning events, particularly corporate events, right? So I could do a lot of corporate events with my eyes closed. Now, if you put me in a different situation and ask me to maybe plan, let's say, a festival, I can still plan that festival and I still know a lot of the logistics, but I won't feel as confident because I might have never done it before, or I feel like I won't know all the steps and I'll start questioning my own ability. And someone who is, well, a little bit more experienced might say, that makes no sense. You've been doing this for so many years. You know exactly what to do and how to do it. How are you like getting frozen and like being intimidated by such a small task? But it happens, right? We naturally question our abilities sometimes, even if we know that we can do it. And here's the other thing, this I found really interesting. Sometimes that little voice inside of you that starts to question things, it's not necessarily because of a lack of skills. It's sometimes fear, right? It's the fear that you might do it and you might not do it well, or fear that you don't want to fail, or you don't want others to see you failing. And believe it or not, that's something that you really have to evaluate within yourselves a lot of times before you step forward. So what I do is I check myself a lot, right? I gotta check myself. So I will say, like, what's the worst that could happen? So you plan this and you've never planned this event before. What's the worst that could happen? Something might go wrong. Guess what? Something always goes wrong, even when your events are absolutely perfectly planned. You'll have to jump in and find a plan B. That's what we do all day as event planners. So, what's the worst that could happen? So, I'm going to share with you today 3 tips that I find are very helpful, at least for me, when I want to overcome imposter syndrome. The first one, and this is going to sound silly, but is to be confident. And that's really just being confident in your abilities because you know within yourself that you can do it. And when you're working with clients, it is not the client's responsibility to make you feel confident in your work. In fact, if you're not projecting a confident demeanor when you're meeting with clients and speaking with clients, you might be losing out on a lot of potential clients. Because if I'm a client who's looking to work with you and I see that you're unsure or not quite sure about what you're doing all the time, I don't have a lot of confidence now in your ability, and the chances of me giving you my business is a little less likely. I'm going to look for someone who walks in, commands the room, and tell me what needs to be done, right? You need to be confident in what you're doing. And how you do that is just think about the skills that you can bring to this, right? You are an expert. You know what you're doing. These clients not necessarily don't. So just be confident in your skills and your ability. And that's the first step to overcoming the imposter syndrome. The second thing that I like to do is learn. And this is an easy one. If you feel like you are not confident or you start to question your skills or just question your ability to do anything, then you either are just having fear inside of you or you need to learn more about this particular item. So if you feel like you're not a master at decor or you're not confident in your decor skills, then try to find a course, a program, look online, look on YouTube. There's so many free decor videos that you can find as event planners, from tablescaping to draping, so many. Just try to learn and absorb as much as you can. And I find that that helps to build your confidence and helps to build your self-esteem, or just the idea that you're able to do this and do this well. So never discount learning. If you feel that you're lacking, then try to improve by learning more about that particular skill to build and enhance yourself. And the final one is, and I don't like using this one too much, but really is to fake it until you make it. And I'm going to caution you, because what I mean by this is I'm not saying to go out and tell people you're able to do things that you know you cannot do. Like, do not go and pitch a customer on planning a 2,000 person conference if you know that that's not what you're able to do, or you're not able to pull it off and you've never done an event on that scale and you're not familiar with the corporate events, for example. What I want you to do instead is to think about how your skills apply. And I'll give you an example. So I do a lot of corporate events and I've done a couple of weddings, but weddings are not something that I really have a passion for doing. I can do them, but they're not my passion projects. So most of the weddings that I've planned have either been for family members, friends, or corporate clients that I already work with and have a good relationship with, who somehow convinced me to plan a wedding either for their family members or themselves. So the number of weddings that I've done is going to be dramatically less than the number of weddings another event plan, like a wedding planner, might have done. So in that sense, let's say I've planned 10 weddings and you've planned 20. Even though you've not been in business for many years and you don't have that 300 weddings under your belt, you can definitely call yourself an expert. You are a wedding planning expert because compared to me, you've actually planned twice as much weddings as I have, which means you have twice as much experience doing this, right? So think about the ways in which your skill set apply and how you can speak to that. Another example is maybe you have planned a lot of backyard weddings, and you know a lot of planners in your area, they've planned weddings but they've not been backyard weddings. Then you can definitely say you're an expert in backyard wedding planning or estate weddings, right? That's your niche. That's something that you have more experience doing. So when I say fake it until you make it, that's what I mean. Do not hesitate to call yourself an expert if you do have some experience doing that. Now, let's be honest. If you've never planned a backyard wedding, do not go out there and start calling yourself a backyard wedding planner. At least know what your skills are and what you've done and what you can bring to the table before you say that. Because otherwise, you're technically lying to potential customers, and we never want to go down that road, ever, right? Because if you get found out, like now your business starts to look like you're not being transparent or you're being just a little shady, and we never want to do that. So the 3 tips is you want to be confident, right? You want to learn if you feel like you're lacking skills, and you want to fake it until you make it, right? And that's how you help to eliminate imposter syndrome. Now, I hope you can apply a lot of these tips in your life, in your business, as you get ready for 2018, and you can crush it. Now, thanks for listening, guys, and have a wonderful day.